What's going on, gang? It's your boy Lex, and today we're here to talk about a very funny and interesting mechanic that you might have never heard of or ever experienced in your life because, it's not a really common interaction, but when it does happen, it can be quite funny. So today we have Baddie versus Elias Sai, and this is for Smogon Tournament tiebreak in order to get into the top 16. So through 9 weeks of playing SV, SS, SM, all those 3 tiers, it culminated in this tiebreak to make it into the main playoff section, and Baddie vs Elias Sai is just one of those games. We covered the rest on Blunder's channel, and we are meant to cover this series, Baddie vs Elias, on my channel. Unfortunately, there were audio issues that kind of ruined everything. Like, my mic wasn't picking up for some reason, and I never noticed until after the video. But I'm gonna be covering this specific game and one very specific interaction, and then I'll show the reaction that me, Blunder, John, aka Fade, and 3D had in response to it. Alright, so Webs versus Weezing. Not a very good matchup, generally speaking. Weezing is the only thing that gets the free defog off into a Webs team because Goldango can never block it. Reveals that he's not close combat and Great Tusk, which means that Corv does hard wall it, which makes him bring Iron Moth in to try to apply some pressure. Doesn't get the special attack boost. Energy bulk bounces off. 35% is ridiculous. Ogerpon comes in, clicks Swords Dance. Tinglu makes a good play on the Elias' part, whirls that back out, not willing to let that set up. Because if you look at how the board looks, the only way Baddie can win is with the Swords Dance Ogerpon into a non-Scarf Darkrai, into AV Pex, which you can beat with Power Whip. So he had to go for his only shot there. Gambit completely walled by Corv. Does get the U-turn off, but Elias then reveals that he is Encore on Ogerpon. So Baddie expects this. Goes to his own Ogerpon, which is always going to be faster because webs are up on Elias' side. Picks the Encore, which is pretty good. And then clicks Encore himself as this Ogerpon U-turns out. And this is a really funny mechanic to us because, okay, first of all, it doesn't work, obviously. You can't Encore something else into Encoring. But if Encore was able to work there, like say Ogerpon Encores Ogerpon into Encoring again, then that would just mean you guys are in this loop of okay, you're both locked into Encore now and you had to swap out. Which, I don't know, it's just a really funny mechanic, and honestly, Encore wasn't that common of a move until, I want to say, used in tournaments until a few years ago. So it never actually happened in a tournament where someone figured that out. And I feel no discredit to Baddie, but I feel there's actually a few amount of people, maybe a decent amount of people, that wouldn't know of the mechanic because it just never occurs, and you just never really have to think about it. But at this point, the game is just completely over. Terra Gold looks actually kind of good, but then it reveals that it's Terra Poison Sludge Bomb Darkrai. But yeah, I just want to highlight that. Apologies for... Yeah, and then Gambit is unable to win the game with Ogerpon with Encore there. I just wanted to highlight this mechanic that many people might not know of, so it's going to be a pretty brief video, but hope you found that was interesting, and I'm going to include the reaction to when we all saw it live, minus my own voice, of course. But yeah, thank you for checking it out. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you for some ladder lives coming soon. Peace.
Oh, it's Encore.
Okay, dude.
Okay.
Terra Cudgel.
He's
Terra
pushing on
Cudgel.
four. How else did he go to it?
Oh, he's so
Terra
bad.
Cudgel
Putting a
would be crazy.
U-turn.
Oh, he's down 4-6. Damn, Elias Sai's putting in that work like Kirk.
Yeah.
Bro, what? Bro, no.
Let me explain how
Wouldn't you
terrible
be
that was.
Encore? Wouldn't you be Encore
Yes,
yourself?
I was about to say that. You would just Encore
Nah,
yourself.
that's crazy. Nah, that's funny as balls.
You can Encore yourself if that works, bro. What the fuck? I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, that's actually funny as balls. Yo, what are y'all on, bro?
Damn, bro.
Who said, yeah,
I'm not doing anything and you're not doing anything this turn.
He's gonna lock me into Encore.
Yo, that was not
By the way-
real.
By the way.
Yo, ST on
By the
Roost? ST on Roost?
Ain't no Roost getting clicked. You clicking U-turn. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Blue didn't die to low kick. It is 56 max. I think.